Hello, good morning. Man, good morning, good morning. I am back after 3 days. And guess what I was doing in those 3 days? I was playing Armored Core 6 that entire time. And I'm being perfectly honest, I was playing that game the whole entire time. And, yes, I finished it. I finished playthrough 1, which apparently, I have just found out. Okay, we're getting into the spoiler talk already, so I'm just gonna go and just... I mean, I put it in the title anyway. This is spoiler talk, this entire stream about Armored Core 6, because this is what I'm gonna be talking about the most, okay? This is what I'm gonna be talking about the most. So, spoiler talk, I finished playthrough 1 of the game. We're just gonna get into it. First of all, I did the, what ending was that? It is the crash the ship into the satellite ending, whatever the hell that's called. The Fires of Raven ending. I did that as my first ending. And, yeah, what people said was true. The story picks up incredibly in the second half of the game. I do still feel that is pretty weird that Chapter 3 was so short? Or was that Chapter 2? One of those chapters was way too short. Like 2 missions. 2 or 3 missions. Yeah. That doesn't improve with New Game Plus, mind you. Chapter 2, I'm gonna say Chapter 2. The one where you actually have to fight the cleaning robot and then go talk with Cinder Carla and stuff like that. That one is just still way too short. The other ones are a decent enough length. There are, I think so far, in New Game, just New Game, you play through, I would assume, 30 to 35 missions. Which is, I wouldn't say that is a big number, especially compared to how many missions there were in previous Armored Core titles. But in terms of what you actually do in those missions, those are definitely suitable enough. However, with New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus, I will get into this. Yeah, you are definitely going to be playing through a lot more missions. And why is that? Because New Game Plus is just part 1 of the entire game experience. When you get into New Game Plus Plus, well, New Game Plus and then New Game Plus Plus, you get more missions you unlock. Then that's being very apparent to me right now for the playthrough that I'm on. So the second playthrough, you will get more missions, and I can only assume the third playthrough when you're going for that third ending, because I spoiled for myself that there are at least 3 endings to this game. So I can only assume with New Game Plus 3, or New Game Plus 2, I don't know how I'm gonna say this, but the third playthrough, you're gonna have even more missions to unlock. So, yeah, this game, one playthrough is only, like, I would say 60 to 70% of what you're going to experience in a playthrough, like, of the game. An entire playthrough of Armored Core 6 apparently is 3 playthroughs. So yeah, good lord. I didn't think that they would actually, like, FromSoft is kind of madmen for doing this, but the fact that you can't get an entire encompassing thought about the story, like, you can't get the full story until you've played through the game 3 times, is kind of, like, I know that might turn off some people a bit, but to me, that's just great, because that just heavily incentivizes playing through, like, the game again, because let me tell you this, in Bloodborne, there is no incentive to go to New Game Plus. In, I think, Elden Ring, there's no incentive to go to New Game Plus either. Nothing really changes. So, the only, like, the only Souls game, in my opinion, well, actually, Sekiro 2, we'll count that as well. Dark Souls 2 was the only game where things actually changed in New Game Plus. After that, it's minuscule changes at most with, like, another playthrough. Armored Core 6 is literally like, hey, you want more story? You want more missions? You want more parts? Play through the game again. You don't want to? Alright, well, I guess you don't get these parts then. And, yeah. You know what? Madmen. Anyway, let me go and bring up the game, because one thing we're going to be talking about with this game too is the builds that I have so far. Yes, we're actually going to be having a game on the stream. That is... Do you know how like, anxiety-driven I am right now about this game running well? I'm not even going to be going into, like, missions and shooting stuff up. I am literally just going to be showing off builds, and I hope my stream just... I hope it holds up. I really hope it holds up. So I'm gonna go and bring the game up right now as I keep talking about, well, how it's going to, how this whole thing's gonna go down, alright? So, actually, I want to go and talk about the first playthrough. The first playthrough, went pretty damn well, I would say. I did find the meta build in my, like, attempts to create builds to suit certain missions. And yeah, I found the meta PvP build, which I will get into later, but I found the meta PvP build, and apparently this build just is almost a catch-all when it comes to most missions, which is double shotguns. Double shotguns plus either a lightweight build or the wheelchair tank treads. Yeah, that's apparently the meta. Like, the two shotguns, well, the shotguns that I'm referring to are the Zimmerman shotguns. It's the upgraded form of the first shotguns you get in the game, and the thing that makes these so great is that they have high damage, plus they have incredibly high impact damage, which is insane to me, because here's the thing, let me paint you a picture here. The shotguns in Armored Core 6 are pretty good. They're actually pretty good. They're not trash like they were in previous titles. Like, especially Armored Core 4. Like, in 4, the game is just so fast. Oh, wait, well, I'm talking about 4 Answer. I haven't played 4 proper, but 4 Answer is... I didn't think shotguns were good because of just how fast the game was. Because the game in AC6 has been slowed down, shotguns actually have an amazing shot at being, like, a good weapon, and guess what? They are. Like, they are a great weapon. Okay, the game is here. Let me go and bring this here. But yeah, Armored Core 6, the shotguns. I'd say a big factor of that is the fact that the speed of the game is not as fast as previous, like, titles. It's definitely faster than 5, but in 5, like, the speed of 5 was so slow that it actually made snipers in that game really strong, because you could play very heavy keep away tactics, especially because in PvP, you had a lot of maps with a lot of, like, objects in them to hide and pop out between, you know? But in 6, every map is mostly arenas. It is mostly arenas. There's very few set pieces, which I personally am not a fan of. I hope there's more maps later down the line that have more, like, buildings and objects in the map so you can use them to your advantage. There are a couple of maps that do have set pieces to play around, such as, I think, one portion of the map from that mission where you have to go and fight, like, the leader of the coyotes. That map, I forgot what that map is called, but that one's a good map. The Strider map is also a great map too. But then you have maps like, what was that? The arena where you fight Balteus, which is just an arena. There is nothing else there. It is just an arena. Okay, it makes sense to have like an arena like that in the game, but I'm not a big fan of it. But yeah, I got off track here. Shotguns are really good. I use that for most of the game. In fact, if you look at my builds right now, this is the build that I've basically used the most, except replace the needle cannon on the back. That is a needle cannon. Well, needle cannon in this game is basically the equivalent of like a sniper cannon from AC4A, and this is the only one that you get. So yeah, if you like sniper cannons from 4th gen, then you basically need to slap on a needle cannon. But yeah, you get this weapon from fighting the giant worm. Well, you're given it before you fight the worm. But yeah, you're supposed to use this against the worm. And it's a great weapon. It is actually a great weapon. Usually in games where they give you like, where they have a situation where, you need to use this certain weapon against this boss to actually do something against it. The weapon usually just sucks. It is usually a terrible weapon. Like, maybe it's passable or, like, pretty decent at best, just like the spear that you get for the Riker fight in Elden Ring, but in this game, this needle cannon right here is actually a really good weapon. That just blows my mind, but yeah, this is a great weapon. Slap 2 on there, and you get a pretty great follow-up whenever you stagger an enemy. When you would stagger like an AC, just like use 2 of these needle cannons and you can get some pretty good damage out of it. In fact, I think these are also good for shield ripping as well, but I haven't really used it for that, so I can't really say for sure. But yeah, here, let me load this one. So this is the build I ended up beating the game with. And yes, with other people who have played the game to the point where I'm at, you will see them probably using these dual shotguns. Look at this. Look at this right here. And yes, I know I don't have the BGM up, but I do like the freaking elevator like music that we have right now. Because this isn't like a serious I'm playing the game right now. I'm just showing off my builds. I just want to talk about Armored Core 6. So here, look at this. These are the shotguns, the Zimmermans. Yeah. These are these long-range shotguns. First of all, when you have a long-range shotgun in a game, it's usually dubious at best. Because there has to be a compensating factor for it being like a quote-unquote long-range like shotgun. And like usually it's probably something like, maybe maybe their spread is not a great pattern, or like they have a very long like cooldown between shots and stuff like that. These ones do have a long cooldown between shots, more so than other shotguns, but oh no. Bam. Okay, so my headphones are losing like battery, so that's great. I'm not sure what to do about that. Give me a second. Maybe I can just plug something into the wall and then plug it into my headphones. This is gonna be so jank, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Give me a second. Oh. So it just went dead on me. Great. Well, that's great. It went dead on me. Alright, so I'm gonna have to do things this way. I really wish I didn't have to do it this way. But, where the hell? Wow, it's not even there. You know, I should have had like another I should have had I should have had another pair of headphones, but also I probably should have recharged these last night, but I'm very bad about recharging things that aren't my phone, so sue me. So, okay, it's weird. If you plug these in to charge them, you're still not able to use them. I find that notion extremely odd. So here's what I'm going to do. Actually, I got it. I'm not gonna use the control because, yeah, we're not even playing the game. Here's what I'm gonna do. Okay. Maybe that'll help. Is this working? Okay, well, here's the thing. I cannot hear anything from this. So, yeah. This is awkward. This is very awkward. So yeah, I'm just not gonna have volume. I'm just not gonna have volume at all right now. So I'm just gonna wait for... This is so jank. This is actually, like, very jank, but... yeah. I'm not going to have, any, like, audio at all because I am an idiot and forgot to charge my headphones. This is why, like, I need 3 different pairs, because, I will forget to charge one, then forget to charge the other, so then I'll have a 3rd backup. It's kind of like with tools at my work. If I lose one, then I need to have, like, 2 other backups, because I will lose the other backup. So, yeah. Anyway, this is fine. I'm just not gonna have volume at all, which is okay. So where did we leave off on? Where did we leave off on? I don't even know how to... No, I don't want to deploy AC on a test run. How do you... I don't know keyboard controls, actually. How do I rotate this thing? Wait, no, that's not it. No. How do I rotate this? I actually don't know how to rotate this. Let's see. This? No. Oh, also, when I'm using keyboard controls, why is this so, like, choppy? Okay, well, whatever. So, well, because I need to charge this later, I should just go back to using controller. Whatever. By the way, I'm still sitting at the broad end of my desk. I am still sitting at the broad end of my desk because I have not bothered to put away the wheel stand, and I have not used that wheel stand in, like, months. So, there's another problem with me. There's another problem with me here. Yeah. Anyway... Man, whoa, I lost my train of thought here. We're talking about the shotguns here. Okay. Yes, these shotguns are extremely strong. Why? They have a high attack power and 840 impact, whereas other shotguns... Let me show you. Where is it? Other shotguns, like, see the Haldemon, which is the shotgun you get before the Zimmerman, it only has 360 impact and, like, 576 damage. Now, that damage is respectable. It is respectable. But the thing here is that the 360 impact makes sense. I would have thought that the Zimmerman would have, like, maybe, like, 200 more impact at best. But it having 840 impact is just, I think, is a bit too much. You can use, like, the Zimmerman shotguns to carry you throughout a ton of the missions in the game, especially if you're good about conserving ammo and not trying to, like, deal with every engagement that you see. These things have low ammo. These things have low ammo at, like, 53, compared to this one's 66. But in games, if you know how to conserve your... Well, not matches. In missions, if you know how to conserve your ammo well, then you can just take these straight to the end of, like, even long missions. And that is even with using, like, heavy ordnance back weapons, and like a melee weapon. These things will basically carry you if you just know how to use them well, which is get a high speed build like this one, because for some reason these tank treads are the best tank treads in the series, because they have extremely fast land speed and also have really good like AP for them being tank treads. So yeah, grab a pair of these once you get them, or make a lightweight build and just slap on these shotguns and make some compensations to, like, you know, body parts and like generators and stuff like that, and then you basically got a build that can last you throughout like most, if not all, of the game, like it did for me. And I used this build specifically. I didn't have the needle cannon on the back though. I had on my back, I had the, what was it called? It was the Javelin Alpha. I had the Javelin Alpha gun. I had this. This is a really good bazooka, because this is like a cluster bazooka. So you shoot this, it hits its point, and then it explodes into several smaller explosions. So that impact damage down there, it makes sense with this. See, I don't mind, like, the Javelin Alpha having that much impact, simply because of the fact that, one, it's a bazooka, so it doesn't really have, like, really good, like, travel speed compared to other, like, projectile weapons, even though it is still pretty fast. The other part, though, is that unless you're toting around, like, 2 of these, you can't really, like, use this as not only your, like, your stagger tool, but also like your main damage tool. If you're using this to stagger someone, then you would need to have something else to capitalize on that stagger. But with the shotguns reload fast enough so you can actually use them as both your stagger tool and your as your main damage tool as well. So yeah, these shotguns, in my opinion, are a bit overtuned. I wouldn't be surprised if later down the line, From nerfs these shotguns, at least for PvP. They could, for PvP, this is a problem. In PvE, I mean, sure, go ahead and make them these, like, really strong. I don't mind that. That's just PvE. For PvP, though, I can see them, like, nerfing, like, the impact damage of these shotguns on top of, like, I don't know, making their cooldown between shots, their reload, a bit longer. So these can't really be used in the rapid fashion that they are being used right now. So yeah, I can see them nerfing that. I can see them nerfing these tank treads as well. The Ashmeads, no, not the Ashmeads, the Fortalezas or whatever have you. Yeah, like I said, these are really good tank treads, even though they are the tank treads that give, like, they don't give, like, high AP like the Born Missa, right? But the fact that these are tank treads means that they have more health than most other, like, leg types. So already you're getting, like, more health than you would even if you, like, even if these are, like, the lightest tank treads. You're just getting more health compared to, like, bipeds, light bipeds, even heavyweight, like, legs here. And that's insane to me. So for this one, for the Fortalezas, I would think that if they were to nerf these for, like, PvP, maybe they would reduce, like, the speed of them, and also reduce their, like, how much AP you get from them even further, because I find it kind of silly that those legs give more health than these legs here. Like, these legs only give, like, 5200 AP. This is strictly speaking about AP. These definitely have more benefits, like more defense and stuff like that. But in terms of just, like, overall health, if you're just health stacking, why would you use these heavy bipeds just to go slap these on? Because not only will you be getting more AP, but you will also be much faster, because these legs here are extremely slow. If you use these in like PvP, that's like death sentence right there. Because PvP, let me tell you, you need to build for speed in PvP. You need to build for speed. Speed is king. If you're not building for speed, I very much hope you know how to like play your heavyweight build like pretty well. Cause man, heavyweight builds get slapped around in PvP by high-speed builds, especially if they're using these shotguns, and also if they're melee builds as well. Melee builds are very strong in PvP as well. I would call them like a rogue meta build. If you know if you're strictly building for like melee, you can actually go far, especially if you're using things like this laser blade. This laser blade is really strong. I'm surprised. Like, this laser blade, and also the very first laser blade you get. The 32 pulse blade, the Buta. I find this funny because Buta is just like I think pig in like Japanese or something. I don't know. I don't know Japanese that well, but that's what I've come to understand it as. But yeah. The first like pulse blade you get is still really good throughout like the entire game and in PvP. And that's incredible to me. Like, good job for on the balancing team for like making sure that there's at least one weapon that you start with that isn't like trash. So yeah, I found it really nice that this is just like a solid weapon all around, a solid melee weapon. This one here is definitely an upgrade though, because this one has very, very high range. Like, it has a very large sweeping range for its charge attack. And if you slap this on a build with high like melee boost power from like the boosters, then you're gonna travel a lot of distance with those sweeps. And this is a staple, I would say, in melee builds. Along with, I would probably say, maybe like the Pulse Blade. Pulse Blade is solid. This is still, in my opinion, better. But the Laser Lance, this one here, is really good too because its tracking is solid. It has very solid tracking. Don't use this when you're like point blank at an opponent because they can just like a quick boost out of your way before, if they know that they're gonna get hit with the lance. But at a distance, like at like maybe like close, mid-close range, you can use this to travel a lot of distance and actually capitalize on like a stagger if you get it from like mid-range. This is a solid melee weapon to use. So I would say these three are pretty solid melee weapons to make a melee build around for PvP. And also for PvE as well, like, these are solid weapons, like, in general too. Though in PvE, I would suggest just using one of these two. But on top of that, like, Double Trouble, the chainsaw, like, melee weapon is really good too. Yeah, melee weapons are really solid in this game. I mean, you do have, like, some standout, like, yeah, this is just okay, like the laser dagger and the stun baton. But even then, those can probably find some niche uses for, like, a build. So I'm happy that melee weapons are actually, like, usable in this game. Well, not even usable, they're actually pretty good. But yeah, that's my thoughts on, like, a meta build so far. Oh, also, this isn't the only, like, quote-unquote, like, meta build that I have. This one is, I wouldn't say it's meta because it's using the reverse joints. I don't know what people's thoughts on, like, reverse joints are yet, but this is a solid build to me, too. Okay, one thing because of the shotguns, but also the songbirds. Songbirds, from what I can gather on folks who have been playing the game, well, on their like own playthroughs through the game, songbirds carry a lot. Not only are they very light like grenade launchers, but the fact that they have pretty solid impact and like damage, like impact damage and then just like damage overall, on top of being like on top of their reload speed not being as long as like the earshot, these are just solid grenade launchers like all around. Like you can get through a lot of the game using just dual songbirds on like maybe like a quad build, a tank build. You can even slap these on on the heavier side biped, and like you can just slap these on to like most builds and these will just work. Like firing these at the same time at the right moment will just stagger most enemies, and on top of staggering, like damage them further. So I don't know if From is gonna do anything about the songbirds. These aren't really a problem in like PvP, and I don't mind if things are especially strong in PvE. But if they were to do something with the songbirds in PvP, I mean, actually, I wonder if I could just showcase that without the game like chunking. I'm just gonna show it. If From were to do something about the songbirds, I would think that what they're gonna do to them is that since the idea is to have like 2 of them to carry you throughout a lot of the game, they could reduce like the impact damage of them, because I think the damage of these weapons is fine. It's just reducing the impact damage. The impact damage makes these especially strong. But even so, you have to know when to fire them. So for example, yeah, see? If you're just firing them like that without having like the without finding the opportunity to like fire them like that, yeah, so the thing about like the songbirds are that I see a lot of people firing their grenade launchers from like ground level. Yeah, in my opinion, you really like shouldn't be doing that unless you know that that you're able to like hit the enemy or catching them in like maybe like an animation or stuff like that. The thing here is that you probably should fire them from like maybe like this kind of like angle, because remember what the tutorial told you about like grenade launchers. They're good when fired from like a height, you know, because I mean the one of the main brunts of a grenade cannon is that it's explosion and splash damage, right? If you're shooting at somebody from like ground level, then I mean, look, if it misses, it's gonna hit a wall. It's gonna hit a wall, and you're not gonna get the full benefit off of it. So fire them from here. Fire them from here, and you would probably hit them more often than not if you're just firing them from like a height. Yeah. Also, probably try to fire the grenade cannons not so far from like the enemy. This is another problem that I've seen people do in their like gameplay. And I'm strictly speaking of like PvE, okay? I'm strictly speaking of PvE because I'm not really good at like PvP, so I can't really give people like tips on that. But in PvE, for grenade launchers, I would say, depending on the size of the enemy, definitely fire them like almost like not point blank, but fire them like relatively close to the enemy. If you're using dual shotguns, then you probably won't have a problem with like finding the right distance to like shoot the grenade cannons at. Kind of like that. So that's, in my opinion, that's how you use the grenade cannons. But in my opinion, the grenade cannons are like really strong options to have throughout most of the game. In fact, maybe like all of the game. So I would say if FromSoft were to nerf these cannons, I would say that they're probably just gonna nerf like the impact damage. Maybe cut that by about like 200 or something. Might be like 200 or 300. Because if they cut back the impact damage by about 200 or 300, 2 shells from the songbirds will not compare to the impact damage of one earshot shell. And earshots are still solid in and of themselves. They just require more finesse to use because you're dealing with a very high like reload speed. And I think the shells for these fire a bit slower. I'm gonna try to find out. Let me see. They fire about the same. But yeah, because the reload for these is especially long, you're not really spamming these like you would the songbirds. So I would say maybe if they nerf the songbirds, they might also increase the reload speed. Well, no, decrease the reload speed for these. But that's strictly speaking of like PvE. In PvP, these are fine. Not a lot of people use these because grenade cannons are just very easily dodgeable. Yeah. But anyway, let me see. Let me quit this out. Yeah, those are my thoughts on like my builds so far when it comes to just playing like the first playthrough. There's one thing I want to talk about the first playthrough though, and it's about the ending that I got, which is Fires of Raven. Fires of Raven, again, spoilers, is the ending where you crash the Xylem colony ship into like the orbital satellite to just basically cause the whole planet to like go dead. Essentially, you basically kill all the coral on the planet. So that, in my opinion, it really has echoes of the genocide ending in For Answer. It really has the echoes of the genocide ending in For Answer. So I don't know if I was supposed to be doing that ending first, but that was my first ending, and great. Now, I am the Dark Raven, or like, well, they call the ending the Fires of Raven. So it's a nice play on the fact that this game is called Fires of Rubicon. So that's cool. That's cool. I did the worst ending, and the final boss was, good lord. The final boss was Ayer, who is revealed to you as like a Rubiconian like spirit, basically. Ayer is piloting, I have no clue what that AC is called, but it is, it reminds me of White Glint. It is just White Glint again, but it's like a combination of White Glint and like 9-Ball Seraph. That is basically what I can describe it as. But then again, there's another boss previous to her. I think in the mission Reach the Coral Convergence right here. The boss there reminds me of Seraph as well. Probably more so than Ayer, like down here. But they both... Ayer has more calls to White Glint. In a way, I would guess. Maybe like design. Maybe the design of the AC is more towards White Glint. The attacks, they're a lot of laser-based stuff, so I wouldn't say that. But Coral Convergence reminds me a lot of Seraph. Probably just by design alone. I can only wonder what the later bosses are going to be in the next 2 playthroughs, though. But yeah, Ayer was pretty tough, I would say. But I would say that Ayer is only really tough depending on like the legs that you choose. You would need to build for speed against both her and whoever this boss is here, like the boss for this mission. Just build for speed. Speed is king. Speed is king. So yeah. Yeah, both endings are pretty good. Well, okay, both bosses were pretty fun. I especially liked in the previous mission, Breach the Carmen line, where you fight Rusty again, and Rusty just, for some reason, just has a new AC. I don't know where he got it, but apparently he just has a new AC, and he is the one toting around the double-bladed plasma sword that you saw in the trailers. Like, he is the iconic user of it in this game. So that's cool. You fight Rusty again, and Rusty is Unfortunately, still easy, especially with the double shotgun build. Okay, let me tell you, most of the AC fights in the game are hella trivialized just by using these two shotguns here. Like, maybe I was killing myself of the experience of actually fighting those fights at their fullest potential, but I just wanted to see what the ending was. So that's why I blazed through it. Also, awesome mission right here, because you have, well, I think for most of the mission, you have infinite energy. And the reason for that is, in this mission, the first part of it is just you flying through the air and just taking down gunships left and right. That is really cool. So I like that. I really like that. That is a good mission right there. But yeah, that's all I can say so far. What other missions like stand out to me? The ice worm was a good cinematic fight. I'm kind of disappointed that there's only one ice worm though. I thought there was going to be like more ice worms that you fight later on, but yeah, you only fight one ice worm, and it's like more like a cinematic fight. It's not a hard fight at the end of the day, once you get its attack patterns down. But it's fine in terms of difficulty. It's okay, but in terms of cinematic like experience, that is a good fight right there. What's another one? I think the only one left I can really talk about, or that I want to talk about. Oh, Escape was just... God, that is an awful mission. I don't know why From decided to put a mission in the game where you have to sneak around. I mean, you can just, like, speed past this mission if you're just, like, brazen enough, but the way you're intended to go through the escape mission here is you have to sneak. And that is, I don't know. Why did you try to put sneaking in a mech game? I don't understand it. I don't like this mission at all. I'm kind of glad that there's no reward for getting S rank on like every mission aside from an achievement, because I would not want to do this mission like to get an S rank. Nah. I don't like this mission. I do appreciate the fact that you're basically relegated to a junk AC for just this mission alone, but I'm not going to do it again. I would not want to do this again, but I'm going to have to because I'm on New Game Plus, so I'm going to have to go through this again. So that's going to be fun. At least I have an idea of what pathway I'm supposed to take. But yeah, for the most part, this is all cool. Okay, I'm just going through random topics in my brain that I wanted to talk about because, okay, first of all, I literally have nobody to talk to, so, well, talk to right now. Especially for this, so this is why I'm just rattling off random topics in my brain. Oh, the arena. One thing that New Game Plus opens you up to is more arena fights. So this analysis tab only opens up in New Game Plus. And you're basically... The storyline for analysis is you are fighting, like, training simulations to improve the combat capabilities of Mind Alpha, which is this AC here, created by the All Mind, I think, system that talks to you every so often. Yeah. The storyline for this is that you're fighting different types of ACs to improve the combat capabilities of Mind Alpha, and I can only imagine that at the very end you're going to be fighting like a souped up version of like Mind Alpha that has its AI tuned to like the balls, you know? Which, in my opinion, pretty cool. It harkens back to, I think, one sub-storyline in AC1 where you're constantly fighting, I think Murakumo Millennium, I think? Was it Murakumo? It was one of the subsidiary companies, maybe, to one of those, that you're fighting, like, a test AC, like, constantly until, like, you fight the final version of it that's supposed to be the toughest version. It's a nice callback to that kind of to that storyline. So... I can only assume that by Chapter 5, I'm gonna fight the final Mind Alpha. Maybe it's gonna be called Mind Omega or something. Or maybe it just turns into its own unique boss. That would be cool. I'm totally expecting to fight different bosses for New Game, for playthrough 2 and 3. But yeah. Also, man, the arena in this game, I don't know. I feel like I would have wanted the arena to have at least 10 more, 10 more fights in it. I would want the arena to have like 10 more fights in it because it felt really short. Like, all the arena combatants here, they're just folks that you meet in the storyline along the way. And I think the magic, well, maybe not the magic, the thing that made, like, the thing that stood out about the arena to me, especially in 3rd gen and before, was that the arena was its own separate storyline with folks that you fight in the arena just solely relegated to the arena story. You don't meet, well, half the guys you probably meet out in the field, but half of them, they're just solely, like, in the arena for you to fight in the arena, to have a story centered around, like, fighting in the arena. This game doesn't have that. Most of these guys you fight here, you meet all of them at some point in the story. In fact, I think you just fight all of them in the story. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you meet, like, these really weird ones, like Chartreuse, like, well, the branch guys. I wouldn't be surprised if you met the branch guys in one of the, like, story paths of the game. But for the most part, you do fight, I can only assume, everyone. You fight everybody in just, like, playing through the game. You don't even have to, like, fight in the arena to fight these guys, which is kind of disappointing. I kind of wished, like, rank 1 was just a guy solely focused on, like, the arena, but this is just a simulation, so that's kind of disappointing to me. I kind of would have liked that, for the arena to be its own actual physical thing. Well, physical? That's not a... I wanted the arena to be less ephemeral than that, basically. So, still though, a lot of these guys have a lot of short lore blurbs, but I think the one that stands out to me is Freud. Freud is basically the Vesper commander of, like, Arquebus. And what's insane about him is that this guy's supposed to be the best pilot in the group, right? This guy's supposed to be the best pilot. But if you read the last part there of his bio, it literally just comes out and says that, yeah, every one of the Vespers are, like, augmented humans, like, they have, like, this game's version of, like, Human Plus, right? Freud is just a dude. He's not even augmented at all. He just is just a really good pilot. And that's pretty wild to me, because this game introduces you as, well, as having this game's version of, like, Human Plus. There's several generations of, like, Human Plus, and you're, like, 4th gen, right? But then I like how the dynamic of normal pilot versus Human Plus pilots is now flipped on its head, because in previous games, you were always the normal pilot, especially in later games. In the 3rd generation line, you do not have the ability to get the Human Plus or, like, OP Intensify. Well, OP Intensify, for those of you that don't know, is a part in the game that allows you to have extended, well, surpassed, like, abilities. Like, say, more energy output, you can go into battle, like, overweight and stuff like that. Those kinds of things. Basically, it's a built-in Game Shark. I find it really funny that in this game, that whole dynamic is flipped on its head, and now you're the one with the Game Shark, and then the rank 1 is what would have been the main character of a previous Armored Core game, which is just a normal pilot who's just really, really good. No augments at all. But yeah, that's Freud. And it's really funny too, his AC is just very, it's very basic. It's a very basic AC. Like, let me show you, like, Locksmith. Yeah. It has parts that you would just get at the beginning of the game. And not only that, it has the beginning rifle. And I will say, rifles are not good in this game. That is one of the things that I am more confident in saying than others, but rifles are just not good. Then you have him using, like, just the second tier laser blade, and then you have, like, him having a triple shot bazooka, and the only thing that's really unique about him is his drone back weapon. For those of you that don't know, this back weapon right here, the one that you're looking at right there, it basically shoots out, like, mini drones that track whoever you're fighting and then just pelt them with lasers. It's basically like orbital drones, or in Gundam terms, it's funnels. But yeah, that's the only really unique thing about, like, Freud, aside from his lore in saying that he's just a normal dude. I find that really cool. But yeah, what else? Ooh, yeah. Along the course of the game, I tried to collect as many combat logs as possible, even going through missions several times in order to get all the combat logs, and some of the combat logs are really well hidden. I still don't know if I like the combat log mechanic in this game to unlock certain parts, but I got enough to unlock the gun that I wanted to play with in this game, and there it is. Okay, I don't want those red tags to just be emblazoned, like, in front of me. Give me a second. There it is. There it is. This is this game's Kurosawa. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Kurosawa is a staple gun that's always been in every Armored Core up to this point, in different iterations. Armored Core 1 and 2 are probably their strongest iterations. In Armored Core 1, it was, like, a very fast-shooting laser rifle. In 2, it was, I think, like, a plasma gun that did little explosions on impact, and also had very high velocity and very high attack power, so that was arguably, like, the stronger between 1 and 2. But Armored Core 3, it still retained its, like, plasma gun thing where you shoot it, impact, explode. Then in 4, it became, like, just like a plasma rifle or something, and then in 5, it got split into 2 different Kurosawas, but essentially, this is named after one of the minds behind Armored Core. I forgot his name, but one of his, like, his last name is probably Kurosawa, right? But yeah, this is a staple gun, and it looks weird in this game, in my opinion. It looks like it's 2 guns fused into one, and it's not even like a fusion. You're just like. It's like you welded 2 rifles together, and then that's your actual rifle. I find that really funny. It's a really funny looking gun in this game, but in terms of versatility, it is probably the most versatile energy rifle. It's denoted as a multi-energy rifle, and it basically has, like, 3 firing modes to it. You have your normal firing mode, which it fires like, say, these guns here. Here, actually, let me go and let me deploy it on a test run here. So the first firing mode, which is its normal one, it just acts like a normal, like, energy rifle. Yeah, see the little explosion at the end? Yeah, it acts like that. It does respectable damage, but the problem with it is that, to compensate for how versatile it is, this does have the lowest attack power out of all the plasma rifles in the game. By a long shot, actually, which is kind of disappointing in my opinion. I would have thought that this was actually going to have a much higher attack power than it has, but yeah, this one definitely has the lowest attack power. But the benefit of this is that it has a 2-stage charge system. So here's the first charge. it shoots a laser. It shoots those big sniper lasers that some of the MTs in the game like shoot at you in certain missions. It looks the same. See, like that. But its second charge is the one you really want to capitalize on. And the cool part about this is that if you look at the weapon right now, it actually folds out. You can see it kind of. It folds out to look like how a normal Kurosawa would look in basically every previous game to this one. And that's a cool callback right there. You don't really like see the full potential of the Kurosawa until you fully charge it. And then that's when it like truly comes out. But yeah, this is what it looks like. Oh yeah, now that is very cool. The problem with it is that then you go into overheat and then you have to wait until you can shoot it again. But yeah, that's the Kurosawa in the game. I maintain this is probably like my favorite gun to use in the game, but I have a big problem with it, and it's the fact that it has very low ammo. Just like with the other like plasma rifles, it has very low ammo, so its longevity in more lengthy missions is not great. And the thing here is that I think this one would need to be rebalanced. How so, though? I would either want its ammo capacity to be, like, increased, or its attack power to be increased to the same levels as maybe not so the Nebula or, like, the 760, but increase its attack power by, like, maybe, like, another 150 or something. Maybe, like, another 150 or even, like, 100. But on top of that, too, I really think the low ammo count is not so good for the kind of, like, rifle it is. So, in my opinion, I think what should be done in order to make this a more, like, you can use this as, like, a main hand weapon to make this more viable as it, I would think that just increase the total rounds to maybe about, I think even like 100 rounds would actually be great. 100 rounds, and then decrease the decrease the number of multi-hits on the final laser, because the stage 2 laser hits about 8 times, right? You can basically reduce that by about maybe like 2 hits or something, and that would be the balancing factor for having like more ammo, right? I would say do that, because if you do it that way, like reduce the amount of multi-hits on the stage 2 charge, increase the ammo, and you don't even have to do anything about the attack power too. That just makes this more viable as like a main hand like weapon, instead of just like a secondary weapon that you use to capitalize on certain things, on certain opportunities. I want this to be a main hand weapon again, but it really feels like the Kurosawa is just relegated to being like more so a secondary weapon, which it disappoints me. It definitely disappoints me. But hey, I hope that something changes for the Kurosawa. I'm still going to try to use it as a main hand weapon, though. I'm just going to be very careful about using my ammo. Another thing, too, another weapon that I found in the game, because you find this weapon, is the Moonlight. Yep. Here's another staple weapon of the AC series. It's the Moonlight Laser Blade. And it's not only for the AC series, it's for every FromSoft game, to my knowledge. Every one of these has a Moonlight, all the way back to Kingsfield 1. Yeah. It has the same properties as the other, like, Moonlight weapons. That's a grenade launcher. There you go. You fire blade waves. You basically just fire blade waves. So, the benefit of that in this game is that you have, like, a ranged option. You have a melee ranged option, which is, I don't know how good that actually is. Yeah, there's the charge attack, very wide sweep. I really like that attack. It's actually not bad when it comes to damage too. Though, even with this, I feel like this laser blade is still better. And here's the big reason for that. I think to compensate for the fact that this is a ranged melee weapon, look at its attack power. It is horrendously low. And why do I say horrendously low? Because look, the first laser blade you get does more impact damage and has more attack power than it. That just boggles my mind there. The Moonlight is supposed to be, like, in the upper echelons of, like, weapons in terms of nearly every game it's been in. But in this game, it is an okay weapon. You just gotta know how to play around its range capabilities. But this Pulse Blade right here, it being statistically better, and this one being statistically way better, just... It's so weird how they balanced, like, the two iconic weapons. It's really weird how they balanced, like, the two iconic weapons here. Because these weapons here are iconic to, like, the series, and the Moonlight to FromSoft. And yet, this is how they balanced them in the game, and I find that very odd. So, I'm not sure how to really think of that, in my opinion, but, hey, maybe a later patch will buff these up pretty good. I would say, I mean, look, you don't even have to increase the impact damage, just increase, like, I would say increase the charge attack power and just attack power of the Moonlight. I would say just do that, and you pretty much have, like, a solid weapon. Increase the attack power by, like, another, like, what, 200 maybe? You can still have this be the stronger option because you actually have to, you know, be up close and hit with it. But increasing this by, like, maybe, like, another 150 or 200 would be great. And then you don't even have to change, like, the impact either. Just change the charge attack power to... No, actually, charge attack power is fine. You basically want to use the Moonlight in terms of capitalizing on stagger as, like, a charge weapon. You're using the charge attack, which makes sense because that's what you're supposed to do on stagger for nearly all the melee weapons, so that's not saying much. But yeah, if you're balancing this strictly around the fact that it has a slightly ranged option, then I would say just increase attack power a little bit more, and then we pretty much have, like, a solid, like, I wouldn't say it's a top tier melee weapon. You're still competing with the laser lance, the laser blade, and, like, maybe even the pile bunker and chainsaw. But this is still a solid, maybe, like, upper mid-tier option, and I'm totally fine with that. The thing that I'm just mostly, like, on is the Karasawa here. I hope that this gets balanced to be more, like, viable as a main hand weapon. Maybe this will be fine in, like, PvP, but still, in PvP, because of its low attack power, you're basically only using this weapon to capitalize on staggers. So you're just having the charge ready, and then you're just using it to capitalize on staggers. So instead of the classic combo of Karasawa and Moonlight, you're probably going to pair this with a stagger tool as you're charging this weapon here. That's probably what you're going to be doing with it. So, I don't know. I feel like something needs to change about this already. But is it going to change? I'm not sure. But yeah. I mean, what else has there been to say about so far? Oh yeah, my builds. This is gonna be the last thing I talk about because I'm already, like, past an hour. So, my builds right now. So, even though I know you're going to be unlocking parts later on in the game, I do have a couple of builds so far. The one you're seeing right now is based on Leos Klein's AC from Armored Core 2. For those of you that don't know, Leos Klein was the main character of Armored Core Master of Arena, and in Armored Core 2 he became a villain, and this is kind of like the AC he would pilot In the weapon loadout, he was using the Moonlight, Karasawa, missile launcher, and then the classic AC grenade cannon. Also, the grenade cannon right here, I know I could just slap a Songbird on there, but a high impact, really high attack power grenade cannon is just a staple of really high ranking like ACs that I just, I had to put it on there, right? But yeah, I call it 9-breaker because Leos Klein was the original 9-breaker. 9-breaker being the one to defeat 9-ball right here. I made a 9-ball AC. Here, let's load this one. So yeah, 9-ball. This is how I envision him in this game. Is he a good build? Probably not. He's more like a middling build. He does have the benefit of having like the best laser blade, probably one of the best melee weapons in the game right here. But aside from that, he is a pretty fast middleweight. The thing is, he has very low like stagger resistance, so you're gonna have to be playing really hard around like evasive capabilities with him. I tried to make him in accordance with his 3rd gen look. I gave him like these legs, these arms, which are references to parts in Armored Core 3, so I have to put them there. The head, I don't like the look of this head because just, what is that? What is that asymmetrical bullshittery up there? What is that? I don't like that. If you didn't have that horn, it would have been perfect. That really weird offset horn would have just, I don't like it, but this is the only thing that's close enough. I mean, you could do the Noctrier head. You could do that. Maybe, I think either head would work, actually. Either head would work. But I think the problem with the Noctrier head, if I'm saying that right, is that it's too wide. It needs to be more thin, like this one. But I think either could work. But yeah, anyway. As for loadout, I gave him a Songbirds instead of like the high ordnance grenade cannon, because this just helps me reference the fact that in Armored Core 9-breaker, which is a 3rd gen title, when you fight 9-ball in that game, he has the capability of shooting you twice with his grenade launcher in one shot. So, I mean, that just makes sense for her to just slap on a Songbird on them, because one shot from the Songbird is 2 shells. So that was an easy one for me. The right back unit, I just stuck him with like a missile launcher. He always has like a missile launcher in most games. He had micro missiles in 3rd gen, but most of the time he just had a normal missile launcher. Pulse gun, this just references his incarnation in 2nd and 1st gen, where his main weapon was a pulse gun. I tried to give him a linear rifle, but given how linear rifles in this game are essentially snipers, it just wouldn't work out. Because the benefit of linear rifles in 3rd gen were the fact that they were essentially the upgraded version of like a rifle. And rifles suck in this game, so I was not gonna subject this build to that atrocity. God, why are rifles so bad? They just feel really bad to me. But yeah. Yeah, I made a 9-ball build. I might share that at some point, but yeah, not now. I still need to unlock all the parts so I can actually see what I can, like, how much more I'm able to, like, make it good, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I made the Sazabi. I made the Sazabi. This one, just no explanation needed. For those of you that don't, that know Gundam, yeah, I got the drones here for the funnels. I got the shotgun. It's a Sazabi. I got the Sazabi. There's probably better arms to use for it, though. I think These arms are probably better for the salad arms. In fact, I could probably just buy these right now and use them for it. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Buy the salad arms. Maybe these have the better general shape, but yeah, I'm gonna use the salad arms. Yeah, let's do that. But yeah, that's the Sazabi. Ooh. One last cool thing. There is one mission in the game which I found to be extremely awesome. Where is it? It is... What was it called? Defend the old spaceport. Right here, this one was an incredible mission because this one just completely caught me off guard. You fight Raven. You actually fight the original owner of your call sign, Raven. And Raven uses the poster AC for the game. Like, this is his loadout. This is his look. Like, you fight Raven. Like, the actual Raven. And the hilarious part about Raven to me is that Raven also has his own air, I guess, his own co-pilot, or like, what's the term for it? Not a handler. I forgot the word for it. But you know, the person that kind of calls your shots. I don't know. He basically has the same thing. Raven, in that moment, essentially fills the role of White Glint. In that, in Armored Core 4 Answer, even though White Glint is emblazoned on all of the promotional material for that game, he's not you. You fight against White Glint. And in the same vein of that, you fight Raven in this game, and he uses this setup. I think this is roughly what he comes loaded out with if you got the extremely expensive collector's edition of the game too. But yeah, this is Raven. Now, is it a good build though? I would say it is. I'd say it would be a solid build if he just lost the rifle. It's like a middling build, in my opinion. It does have the grenade cannon, it does have the pile bunker, which are great options to both, like... Well, this one's a great option to stagger and also do, like, damage after stagger. But then this one's a very solid option for just, like, stagger capitalization. But in terms of actually, you know, inducing stagger, it doesn't really have a good stagger tool. The only good stagger tool it has is the missile launcher. But calling it a good stagger tool, it would be kind of dubious. The rifle is just not good. I don't like rifles in this game. The assault rifles are just... They don't do enough. The main benefit of an assault rifle is the fact that it has a lot of ammo. So you can take this to the end of the mission and still have a lot of ammo left over. But I think the attack power is just way too low. It is way too low of an attack power for this to be like a viable, like, main hand weapon. That's what I believe right there. But yeah, you fight him. I wish I could show you the fight, but playing this game and streaming it just kills the performance of the game for me, so I can't really do that. Now, the last two builds that I got right here that I just want to show, because they're essentially done. This is very niche of me to show off, but remember this guy in Armored Core 4 Answer? The Orca member who is essentially the, like, big beefy Gatling tank before big beefy Gatling tanks became so popularized as they are right now with this game. This was the original Gatling tank, my guys. This is the original Gatling tank. Yeah, AC name Gladitia. The pilot's name was Vao. And he was part of Orca. Which, Orca is essentially the RLF of Armored Core 4 Answer. I would say that's the RLF. So, yeah. I decided to honor the original Gatling tank and make him. Is it a good build, though? I mean, in terms of just, like, laying down just a constant stream of, like, bullets, it's a solid build. It has the Gatling cannons right here. It has the Gatling cannons right here. You're gonna be using those until you induce stagger on someone, then capitalize on it with the bazooka, right? That's what you're basically doing. Because that's what the original Gladitia, like, did too. Most of the time, it was just firing at you constantly with the Gatling cannons, so, yeah. And then the last one from AC 4th gen, because he was in both games in 4th gen, was Wang Xiaolong. Nobody remembers this guy, but I do, because he was a quad sniper, and I like snipers. I'm sad in this game that the sniper playstyle is... It struggles a lot. The sniper playstyle in this game struggles a lot. Trying to play keep away in PvP with high-speed shotgun builds is just... It's difficult. It is difficult. It's probably better to play like a sniper in more group-oriented content. But in 1v1, man. I say group content, I mean group matches, but man, it is a struggle, especially with this kind of build too. Because it's not fast enough. It is not fast enough. So I would only be playing this for PvE purposes. But yeah. It's not finished yet though. There's probably better parts to use. Yeah, those are my builds so far. Those are the ones that I actually want to show off. I do have others like, you know, Loss-wise. Rank 2 and AC 1. Literally just a sniper with like a shotgun back weapon. Doesn't do anything else. It just snipes, and that's it. Big problem for everybody in AC1, but yeah. This build is not good. It's missing a lot of weapons. It's missing a lot of things to round it out. It just has a sniper and a shotgun, but that is not enough. I would have loved to give it like a laser blade or something, or I could just give it like a jamming bomb launcher. But still though, without ECM in this game, I don't know, jamming bomb launcher requires some finesse to use. But yeah. I still like sniper builds, but I already know that those are just going to be a for fun option for me in this game. But anyway, I think that's all I wanted to show so far. But yeah, that's all I wanted to show so far for Armored Core 6. That does it for like my morning chat today. Yeah, like I said, I just talked about AC6 because I'm just giving you an update of where I am so far with the game. So yeah, that's... My headphones is screaming to me, please recharge me. So I'm going to do just that. I'm gonna do it before it tells me it's dead. So yeah. Thanks for coming by if you did and see me just rambling on about like this game. The next stream, I can't guarantee you when that'll be because of just how I'm just gonna do streaming from now on. If I feel like it, I'll do it. If I don't, then I don't. I will post about it on Twitter. So, yeah, that's basically it. Okay, I should probably say what I'm gonna play next time. Maybe I will play Holocure next time. I still need to do a lot in that game, and that's a good, like, talking game. So, I might do Holocure. We'll see. I still want to play AC6 off stream and just finish 2 more playthroughs of the game. So, we'll see what happens with that. But, that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you for dropping by, and I'm going to go and eat lunch. It is gonna be a very hot day today. I just want summer to be over. Give me the most overpowered like season ever, which is autumn. Like autumn in its prime, in its prime week is probably the best season for me. It feels so comfy in like autumn. But yeah, I will go. Take care and
You have a good one.